Hi friends, my name is Tina. I am coming to you from beautiful Heatherton, Nova Scotia, July 26th. And it is 33 degrees here today. As you can tell from the clouds in the sky, we may get some rain, which I'm hoping we do. But I am going to be picking my black currants. They are definitely ready. I'm already seeing them fall on the ground, so that's how I know that they are ready to be picked. And then I'm going to be making some jelly with these black currants. Ordinarily, what I do with my black currants is I either make a jam where I use the whole berry, or I make cassis, or cases, not quite sure how to pronounce it, using either vodka or gin or rum. And I have lots of both the liqueur as well as the jam from last year as well as the year before. So this year I'm going to be making jelly where I'm actually going to strain the puree. So there are quite a few berries to pick. When I moved to this property, I brought I think 6 canes. When I sold my home, I didn't even know I had black currants until probably a few months before I actually put my house up on the market. So I was quite delighted when I found all these black currant bushes behind my house. So these established themselves really, really well, and they produce heavily every year, and I have not pruned them. I do believe I will prune them this year and maybe even split them up a bit and spread them out. So let me show you what I'm going to be doing here. So you can see these beautiful berries. Hopefully that comes in clear. They are absolutely delicious. If you're not aware, black currants have more vitamin C than oranges. They're full of antioxidants, tons of nutrients. They're delicious juiced in pies and cakes. I may actually save some for a bit of baking, and I may freeze some. But these are my bushes, and they have just spread like crazy. And you can see the branches are actually bending over with the weight of the berries. So all I do when I'm picking my berries is I just simply grab a handful, try not to lose too many, and then I'll just stick them in my bucket, and I will then go in and clean them in the sink and remove any of the leaves that have gotten picked along with the berries. So I just finished weighing these, and it's about 7 pounds worth of black currants, which is a lot. And I only got half my bushes picked. So I have at least that, or just, I would say just under another maybe 6, 7 pounds yet to pick. So that's a lot of berries. So all I'm doing is I'm just going through, and any little twigs, any little brown bits, like the little brown leaves, I'm just taking out. If I see any little critters, they'll definitely be coming out. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to rinse these and put them in the pot. If I was making jam, this would be a lot more time consuming, because when I make black currant jam, I actually go through and pick berry by berry all the little stems off. Of course, the ones I'm pulling out to show you don't have any. Let's see here. Yeah, like see here, I would of course pick that little stem off, right? And so, yeah, it would easily take me an hour to clean everything easily, and that was with way less black currants. Because I am making jelly, I am not going to worry about the green leaves. You can apparently make tea out of blackcurrant leaves. I didn't realize that. Just pour hot water on it. May have to try that sometime. But because I am just going to make jelly, as long as I don't have any like super big branches or twigs or anything, I'm just going to rinse it really, really well and put them right in the pot. So that's going to be a massive time saver. Just a little tip, when you're going through and taking out the little brown bits and any little twigs and stuff that you may find, do it before you start rinsing them with the water, because things are going to stick and be that much harder to pull out. So it makes a difference to just go through, pull out the bits that you don't want, and then I'm just going to rinse them under the tap, and I'm just going to put them in the pot. So this is how I rinse my black currants, is I put them in the sink after I've gone through and picked out anything I don't want, and like anything specifically with 4 legs. And I just let things float to the top or kind of sink to the bottom, but it just gives me a chance to really pick things out. Now, if you don't want all these leaves, and I actually don't need all these leaves, it's also an easy way to go through and pick those leaves out and just toss them. So I'm just going to continue cleaning these. So they've all been cleaned, and now all I'm going to do is cover them with water. And I'm actually going to go maybe about an inch higher than level, just because I know they have so much pectin in them. So you can either just cover them right to the top or go a little bit more. I'm going to add an inch higher than level with these black currants. And they smell amazing. I think that's probably good. Okay, and I'm going to put those on the stove. So I just have these on low, and I'm going to simmer them for about 30 minutes. So now all I'm doing is I am just taking my small colander and scooping out the berries. This is cooled down, and then I'm still going to strain them, but this is just going to save a bit of time because there are so many berries here. A lot of juice in here, and there's going to be even more once I get this strained. And then move this out of the way. Don't need that one. Slide that there. And this one over, and actually I'm going to grab my other strainer. It has a lip, so it can sit there like that. And then I'm just going to pour this in here. So I'm bringing this in, and I'm going to pour those berries in. And I know you can do this overnight. You can see it's already dripping. But I'm just going to push these in. I'm just going to get my smaller spatula, actually. Then I can get right into the bottom and just push all that juice out as much as I can get. And then I'm going to put this pulp back into a bowl. And you know what? Let's do this. Let's pour this in. Get another strain. That gorgeous color. Okay. Okay. And I'm just going to repeat this with this massive bowl of berries that I have. And I'm just going to press them down and just get as much juice. And there's a lot of juice in this bowl. And continue on until that is all done. Okay, so I know that there is still a lot of juice in this pulp. And what I have done is I have put my stand for my strainer over a big bowl, and I am going to press these again a second time. Like so. I'm just gonna load this up and just let them sit and drain, and then I will press them down later. They can do their thing while I work on everything that's in the pot. Now I need to measure and see how much juice I have so I know how much sugar I'm going to need. So I have pretty much filled this, and this is an 8-cup measuring cup, so that's 8 cups. I don't want to work with more than 6 cups of juice at a time, because I have read that it won't set if you do more than 6 cups at a time. So I will set 2 cups aside, and I'm actually going to put those 2 cups in this pot because there's already more juice dripping out of there. So let me grab one of my measuring cups, which is about to turn purple. I am pouring 6 cups of juice back into my pot. And now I'm going to add 6 cups of sugar. So I'm going to use equal amounts of sugar. I have heard you can cut it back a couple of cups or by half a cup of sugar, but I really want to make sure this sets, so I'm going to use full amount of sugar. I don't often use a ton of sugar, but this is a treat. This isn't something I have all the time. It's a nice treat to have on some toast or fresh scones. It's not like I'm going to eat a jar full at a time, though I wouldn't object to that because it is delicious. But anyways, let's put in 6 cups. Turn this on to medium. And I'm going to give this a good stir. You want that sugar to fully dissolve. And then while that's doing its thing, I'm going to get my jars ready. So these are the jars that I'm using. These are the 125 ml jars. So what I do with my jars is I take my lids and my bands and I'll put them in a pot with hot water. I won't boil it, but I'll make sure it's simmering so they're super hot and sterilized. And then I'm going to go through and put all these little jars through my dishwasher on the hot rinse cycle. So that will also sterilize them, and I'll also have them hot and ready to be filled with the jam when the jam is ready to be poured in the jars. The other thing that I've done is I've taken two saucer plates and I've put them in the freezer so that I can do my jelly test. So you need a really cold plate for that. So they're in the freezer. I'm just putting my rings in a big pot and my lids in another one, and I'll just lightly cover them with water and put them on simmer. I'm thinking I'm probably going to use 3 boxes of 12 for this batch, and then I do have enough black currants in my garden that I have to finish picking once these are done to do the second batch. Will be the remaining 3, I'm guessing. Okay, so this has come to a boil, and I want it to come to a rolling boil, and I'm just constantly stirring. And in this pot, I have another 4 cups of juice. Actually, you can't even see that. Hang on. So I have another 4 cups of juice with 4 cups of sugar in here. And I'm going to turn that down because this isn't a big enough pot for that much juice and water, or juice and sugar, and I don't want it to boil over because it'll be a disaster. But I do want it to be nice and hot, so when I have this pot emptied, I can transfer this over and start bottling that up. So I'm just stirring that constantly, but I've got the heat turned down on that. I'm going to keep stirring that. And I'm going to do a little trick that I've seen where you take a little pat of butter and it stops the foaming from happening. So I'm just putting in just maybe a teaspoon in that one. Less than a teaspoon there. And see if that does help with the amount of foam that I get. It smells so yummy. So my jars are almost done in the dishwasher, so they're going to be really, really hot. I'm going to turn up my lids here a little bit, so I want to make sure they're really hot, and my seals are nice and hot and sterilized as well. So I have everything ready. So I have my my little jar grabber. I have my magnetic bit, which helps pull out those hot seals, and I have my ladle spoon, and somewhere I have the funnel that I will be using as well. So I've got everything ready. I've got a towel on my counter beside me to put the jars on. So everything will just go nice and smooth. I have a cloth, a clean cloth that I will be using to wipe the rims to make sure I don't get any juice on the rims. So I'm just going to keep stirring until this thickens up, and then I'm going to do my jelly test on one of my frozen plates. Test number 1, I'm just going to put a little bit. See what happens. Let that sit there for a minute and see. It looks to me like it's setting. Oh yeah, that's definitely setting. You see, it's not like running down real fast on the plate. Okay, so I'm going to say that this is set and ready. Look, my finger goes right through it and keeps it where I want it to be. So it's good. Let me try it. That is very delicious. Let's rock and roll. So I'm going to turn this heat off. Bring my jam pot over here. Got 4 jars, super, super hot out of the dishwasher, and I'm just going to turn off all the burners. Then bring my ladle in. Scoop up some of that beautiful jelly. And go halfway right to the bottom of the rim. That's what I'm going to do. Oops, and I just made a heck of a mess. which is why I like to have my clean cloth handy. Like the rim. Make sure it's good and clean or it's not going to seal, and that would be sad. So now I've just grabbed a hot seal. I'm going to put that right on top. And a hot ring. Put that on finger tight. So there's jar number 1 ready to go. And now I'm just going to go ahead filling these up. And I'm going to work quick because I want to make sure my jars don't cool off that I took out of the dishwasher. I have poured the rest of my jelly into my little measuring cup because that is quicker and easier. And I'm just going to fill these up. I'm only going to get 3 out of this. Okay. Get my lids. And I didn't have to worry about wiping the rims on those because I totally saw that nothing went on them. Bring in my rings. Okay, so I do believe I got a dozen jars. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. No, I got more than that. What did I get here? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 jars, 125 ml. So I'm going to set out a clean towel over on my other counter and set these down and not touch them and let them seal. Ordinarily, I would put them in a hot water bath. I know you don't always have to do that with jelly, but I tend to do the hot water bath. I'm not going to worry about it. I just want them done and they're going to seal, and I'm going to go ahead and work on this other 4 cups that I have going and then start picking the rest of my berries, which I suspect is probably going to be another 6-7 pounds worth, so I'll get double that. So I won't get as many jars as I hoped, but I will make a different kind of jelly so that I can use up all the boxes that I bought. So I'm going to say bottom line, I have probably 60, I'll probably end up with 60, no, beg your pardon. I'll probably end up with probably about 40 of these 125 ml jars. So, and I'm happy with that. So I'm going to press on and get these black currants going. And I hope you give this a try. It has set really, really nice. Let me show you here. Let me grab a spoon. This is what I scraped off the side of the pot, and you can see how thick that is. Okay, so it's going to be nice and smooth. This is what's going to be in the jars, the nice smooth jelly. But look how that has set up, like really perfectly. It is so good. I have no words. It's a beautiful texture. One of my jars just popped. Yay! I love hearing when those lids pop and seal, and I can just eat all of this. This is great on homemade bread. It's great on toast. It's great on homemade scones. It'd be good on ice cream. It'd be good in tarts and cookies. It's delicious. So this other 4 cups of jelly is at a rolling boil. So I'm gonna go grab the other plate that's in my freezer, do the test, the jelly test, which I would say that this is pretty much there and I should be stirring it, but anyways, and then get that bottled. So I'm really, really happy with how this has turned out. And later today, after I finish picking the last of my black currants, I will finish cooking and bottling them for jelly tonight. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'm going to be doing a lot more preserving and canning this coming fall. So you can look forward to that, hopefully. And I hope you have a great day. Take care. Bye.